Alright, let's start this madness. Check, check. Okay. There, maybe that's better. Alright. Okay, so for the first time, I'm actually going to try to comment on what I'm doing here. So we'll see how that goes. So this is a illustration for a card in a series of cards in a board game that my friend Jason is creating called Cartooner, and you can Google that and find it. So the theme for this card is sci-fi, and the client, quote unquote, my friend said to use one of the characters from the box cover, which is going to be this guy right here. And they said, you know, the astronaut, but I've ended up issuing the spacesuit and make it more a like a Star Trek style, or like a pilot's, like a flight deck suit or whatever, like something in between. Actually, so, and then when it comes to sci-fi, I thought this would be an opportunity to make a reference to my favorite sci-fi thing, which is the game Star Control 2. And if you guys don't know about it, I haven't played it, it's the best game ever. So a lot of the stuff in this picture is inspired by that. So let's see here. Let's see if I can find my so I think this is part of the first rough sketch, and then yeah, so this was kind of like my first or the rough idea. Like I would bisect the field outside the window into two, put a planet. So you gotta have a planet, because sci-fi, I think one of the things that makes it exciting is the exploration, right? You want to go places in the universe and meet and find exciting shit. So, and meet other creatures. I think that's like a core excitement element. So put a planet and then a dark field, and then really what I wanted to have is a dark alien against the light planet, and like like another alien against the dark side, but you will see that later I sort of compromised that sort of clear cut breakdown. So at this point, I was thinking about values and how this side, outside the window is going to be this light field and dark field, and then inside the cabin is going to be like medium and light. So then I was refining the sketch. I think just because my original sketch, or my first pass, is really I'd say it's more about placement and just general flow, and it doesn't have a solid like structure. So then I tried to refine it with a clearer geometry and like structure, and sort of draw out in simpler, like clearer shape forms, like everything that's happening. And then I've sort of refined that, going over the top with a slightly thinner line, and this is a weight 10 line. So I like to try to keep the line weight of the drawing consistent throughout all the cards that I'm making, and throughout each, or more or less throughout each card, because of something that I think of as drawing density of drawing. I might get into it later, but so at this size, which is basically the final print size at whatever 300 dpi, or like this image is exactly the size that it will be on the final product. So whatever this 10-point line is, like, let's say the basic unit, if you think of it in terms of calculus, I guess, Euclidean mathematics, this would be like the unit. Anyways, so this is, I guess, the drawing that I'm going with, and I can already see things are super busy, and I try to not go overboard, but I still go overboard, and like things are busy, so I know I'm not gonna have too much room for very sophisticated like painting, maybe. So once I have this and the value, in order to make the drawing read, I'll have to compromise on probably having like a lot of color, or well, we'll see. So at this point I started thinking about like colors, and I thought of this image from Star Control. I'll show it. Let's see, I just need to open that window for Firefox. So this should bring it up. So this is an image from the game. This is actually the remastered, quote unquote, painted over poorly, badly version. Here's the original. It's a beautiful game. It's amazing. It's the best. So here's an image of the siren, which is basically the girl that's standing next to the pilot. Again, this is that's the original one. It's probably hard to see, but anyways, you guys should check out the game. You can get it for free now. The creators released it into the open source community back when Accolade went under. This game was made in, I think, 1994 or something like that. So it has been republished as the Urquan Masters. And you can get it for free. Urquan Masters. Downloads. Just you can come here and get it. I recommend it if you have time. So okay, enough of that. Okay, so I was thinking of yellow, and I tried. So I put this gradient, right? And the reason why I would use a gradient is because in a typical indoor light situation, you know, I mean, in almost in all situations, in almost every situation, light will not be distributed evenly around the space, so you will almost always be able to find a gradation in the lightness and contrast of the light side of objects. And but anyways, in a room where light is coming from above, which is what we're used to. Typically, the bottom, the lower part will be lighter than the top part of the walls and the floor and so on, because light is going down from above and then bouncing back up. So anyways, tried to set this on multiply, and it just it gave me way too dark over, but I wanted to keep my value study because I was lazy, I guess. I initially thought it would be juicy and yellow, this console, and the pilot and the goal will be colorful, and I actually might still do that, but then I placed it. Then I tried placing it underneath and setting my value study on multiply, and it started to feel kind of more moody. And then once I put this on darken, I got this, and I just liked this because this felt like old school, you know, like comic book, uh, like a picture out of a comic, like something out of Valerian and Laureline, by Jean-Claude Mézières. If you guys, I mean, you probably heard about the movie, but you know, it's like a masterpiece of French comics, or comics in general. So I was like, okay, well, you know, maybe I'll try to roll with this. This looks cool. In fact, let me see if I can increase the contrast. It'll be even cooler, maybe, because I like these grays, the way they contrast with the color sections. They're not just contrasting in value, but they're also contrasting in saturation, right? To where all of these color areas are kind of like at a medium saturation level, but then the shadows, I mean, the shadows are desaturated, so we have contrast against contrast on two axes. So this is like a I think a kind of a cheap and like a quick and more or less reliable way to turn your value study into like basically color. You give yourself this base, and then you start breaking the colors up. Most of you probably already know, but I mean, whatever. So let's see. So then I was like, okay, well, let's just break this planet out and differentiate it from. So we said that the planet is going to be light. So everything in here is kind of medium. So let's break it apart from the interior. And in fact, yeah, so I'm increasing I'm tweaking the levels on the value layer. So that looks pretty cool. Maybe a little more, just even a little oomph. Yeah, whatever. So then let's see what I did. Okay, so then I started trying to break apart and define the individual areas of color. So this girl's hair needs to be dark, and this will be I expect this will be a nice area, sort of this purple against the overall gamut has like pinks and yellows and greens, so the purple will be a nice like extreme to that gamut, and then it will have a nice backlight from the planet here on this side that can be like kind of muted against the saturated dark purple here. And then I wasn't so sure about this skin tone. It definitely will have to be not overly saturated. I want her to have blue skin, but I don't want it to break too far outside this feeling and this gamut that's happening. So like it's gonna be hard not to ruin that as I try to make it a full color illustration, it's going to be tough to try and keep this harmony without, and to fill in like with sophistication without ruining this harmony. So that's the guy's head. I thought maybe orange. Then I realized like this is an opaque layer. So layer modes give us a lot of ways to adjust underlying color. And recently I've really been thinking about how convenient it is to be able to, rather than layering more color on top the way you would do with oil paint or paint, you know, if you paint something a certain color, you want to change it, you just have to go over the top. You have to formulate a new color and cover existing color. I mean, yeah, like you can do glazes, but so that's how you work in watercolor. But right, so in digital, we have so many tools to adjust the color of an area from what it is from like just directly selecting the area with the lasso and just going hue saturation on it. There's here it's a desaturated layer, but you know what I mean. I use overlay a lot, and hard light, soft light, and lighten and darken, multiply. All of those are very useful modes for taking, as soon as you see that you want to push a certain area in any direction, you want to group it you want to place it more clearly into a color group or a value group. Like you can just select it and make the adjustment, either if you're working on the single color layer, just selecting it and making the adjustment, or if you're already working on a lot of layers and you're doing a lot of opaque painting and all this stuff, like you can always just throw a layer on top on like a layer mode such as hard light, and just select the area and then fill it in with approximately the color that you want. So let's take, for example, this screen, right? So I could decide the color of this screen. Like I'll just make a new layer and set this on hard light, and okay, whatever. So I have this color. Maybe I wanna split it in two. So I'll select a color that's different in hue maybe, and different slightly in value, and different in saturation, but not too much, and I could split it up in a variety of, yeah, that kind of looks cool, I guess. Why not? Whatever, right? So and now I can just take this layer and change. I mean, I think that yellow works just fine, but I can by changing the saturation and the saturation, brightness, and the hue, I can adjust like exactly the look of it, and maybe I'll make it a little bit warmer, or not. I can make it darker. I could make it less saturated. I can control the opacity of this effect, or the severity, by changing the opacity of the layer. So you know, lately this has kind of been something I'm into. Like I just go around I just go I just go around the picture, and like I just adjust the existing painting that's on there, um, to try and just keep moving areas around in terms of color to create um, the tensions that I want, or the the feeling, whatever the effect that I want. But you can always, if you don't want to think so hard, like you can always just throw a normal layer on top, and eyedropper paint. Eyedropper, select the color underneath, and then paint it in. Where you you want it. So let's see. Okay, so yeah, so I think this red, works okay for the guy's head. Now these suits, these exosuits, they were described and they were mentioned in the game, but they weren't they weren't shown. And these creatures are not humanoid, so I give them humanoid suits. And there's an argument that could be made for that, but I'm not so sure. I might change them into something more resembling the creature, resembling these aliens. I mean, the humanoid ones look like they could have potential, but we'll see. So of all the different things that are in my painting, I start with not knowing usually what color anything will be, or at least most things, and then I could like I could know what color something, like just one or few things, I can be reasonably sure what color I want them to be, and you can just go from there and just sort of assemble it like a puzzle. Like start with the pieces that you know. Like I knew her hair. I was reasonably sure that I wanted it to be like a dark purple. So once that is in place, I can make everything else work with that. So this alien is green on the cover, so I know that I could try making him green here as well. He could have underlighting. Like this, and then the rest can be I think see, he's greener, but it doesn't differentiate him from the console, so he needs to be darker. Yeah. And then the underlight can be just a slight change, because depending on the strength of the light, the distance from the light, and the type of material that is being lit, you could have all kinds of gaps between the light side and the shadow side. And this means that you can very often justify doing what you think works best compositionally, because there's always some way for it to be visually probable looking. It's too dull. Maybe that's too saturated. Like it just looks like a box of crayons. Yeah, the yellow actually kind of works. The yellowish. Yeah, that darker version, yeah, it's kind of cool, but yeah, that kind of works. I can live with that for now. This machine is metal, so okay, so it's gray. It's gonna be this gray, this desaturated purple gray. Well, it's not actually purple, but it looks purple because of contrast with the warm pinks and oranges and greens. So anything, so gray or anything desaturated is going to look purplish, because of an effect called simultaneous contrast, where, well, you guys know about that. Come on. Maybe there's a reflection here from the planet. Maybe there's a light above that's yellow. Looking coolish. Yeah. Maybe we can see it here. Inside of the TV. It's too early for that. Could be right here. So this pupil, like, I like this breakdown. So I'm just gonna do multiply and throw like a reddish. So I'll make this more orange. Maybe make this I don't want it to be too dark. I want the dot in the center to read the pupil. Yeah, whatever. I might move this eyeball up to point at the screen too. Later. Alright, let me see. I need to start covering some major distance. It's time to think about the spacesuits. I have no idea what color to make them. I honestly don't, and it's a conundrum. They honestly look okay. Well, they look okay in the mid-value ranges, but and they might become distracting once I make them dark, but can't just have everything be the same color. So and so oh, this sleeve. Let's try blue for her and a red for him. So if they're going, if her suit is going to be in the dark value group, then it's going to be approximately in the same value range as the hair color. So let's just see what we can find. So I'm doing a multiply layer on top. Something like that. Maybe that's a bit too dark. So we can just hue, just bring it up a little bit. And I kind of, I want to increase the saturation, but I feel I should restrain myself. I think this is just, this dull blue is just fine, especially, and I don't want to go into the blues, right? Okay, so if we look at this color gamut right now, or if we think about it, of what is sort of like you know, where it's going. So here's our color wheel, right? So we got like oranges, you know, so we got like pinks, and we got cooler like yellows and stuff. And then we have like grays on the cool side, and you know, green, whatever. And then on the warm side we have, well, this is like this is our furthest, our most extreme like hues on this side of the spectrum. And then in the middle we have like the reds, all that. And I know this guy is gonna have to be bright yellow. So you can see that it's sort of like this side. And then, so we have all the like the analogous colors on this end of the spectrum, going dipping into like the purple. And even if I use a very cool green, it will start looking out of gamut. See, like if I make him that, like it will start becoming jarring. And if I use very intense like blues, like they will start dissonating with the rest of this scene. So everything is dipped in yellow, orange, and green. So all the blues, which are the complement of of yellow and orange and red have to be very muted, and they're basically the blues are outside this gamut, and like the ones that are included, the complements that are included, I have to mute them a lot because they are in this warm color environment. Yeah. Well, it's a big topic. Let's get rid of that. So that's why her suit is very dull. So let's see. Let me just whatever. All right, so I'll select the dude's suit individually. Oh. Yeah, like that. So, what to make of him? Oh. Oh. Green? That's not too bad, actually, if you think about it. It's kind of analogous to hers, and it's within gamut, and I don't want his suit to be too distracting. But just to double check, we could try that. We could try like a brown or a red. Like that. It's like almost the same as the hair. Yeah, I like the green. It's not too bad. Just make it a little darker. There. Yeah, that's cool. It just doesn't stand out. So that works. And could apply some of that dark magic to this backrest. So we'll see what happens. I can't predict if it will look better or not in the dark group. Yeah, so yeah, that looks cool. Like, so when I say the dark group means like it's in the same value group with his spacesuit and her spacesuit and her hair, and together this creates like this archipelago of dark spots going down the left side that kind of frames the composition and, you know, points the viewer into this this brighter interior here. So yeah, like that. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe a little darker. Maybe a little more. Eh. Green, yellow, purple. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, like this color doesn't really offend me. I mean, whatever. Yeah, so now her hand, her skin, and the lighter areas on their suits, and his skin are all going to be in the middle value range with bright accents. Whoops. And then here's our dark right here, and basically the shadow side on them, on the suits and their heads and so forth. And then what about this universe here? It's really it's really black. What are we gonna do about that? So that would put it sort of, you see, same. So now this is the dark value group. It's right here. And then this is the light value group. So I guess the console is kind of in the light. And then this is middle. The shadow. So this and this is very close. The suits, this guy's. So my plan for making it read is to try and I think it's a pretty popular plan, but yeah, like it's to try and make try and group my colors clearly into value groups. So, and then yeah. So now let's see. Let's determine let's go into our hard light layer. Should this guy have a beard? Kind of want to make him look like my friend Ben. Right now he kind of looks a little bit like Chris Pratt. Both of which I'm open to. By the way, if you guys don't know, my friend Ben Jelter draws his webcomic. It's called Heliosphere. He's been drawing it for, I think, 3 years now, and it's really interesting. And you guys can just Google that and find it. Let me show you. He calls it a biopunk comic. But there's a lot of story and emotion and like just very conceptual thinking. So I'll show you. So this is the front page and Heliosphere, guys. Check it out. Wait, what? Cancel? What? Alright. So let's see. I guess he's gonna be pale-skinned devil. Saturation. I guess no. I guess he's gonna be more in the purple. In the purples group. Yeah, that looks vaguely human. That looks humanoid. We can roll with that. Something like that. Well, this of course has to be a classic joystick, classic flight stick, because how could it not be? So let's go to multiply. So I want to make it black, but let's just grab one of our dark values here. Actually, let's try a darken. Yeah, well, that's obviously gonna stand out way too much. I mean, our flight sticks are awesome, but it's a minor element. So how can we blend it more into the background? Just like that. Now that's pretty good. That's pretty decent. Let's see, we can have a little bit of hey, a bit of reflected light here. Catches. Yeah. And of course the buttons. Let's just go with the comic flow and just reuse our existing colors, because you know that's what the color on a comic page would often be guided by, right? It's like we have a limited amount of pigment, of colors that we can program in or formulate. So let's break everything into those few colors. That's decent, and I mean this area just like I wanted to kind of frame. I wanted to kind of like go dark, and I could maybe this could be a darker piece of the dashboard, I guess you can call that. So let's just make it seem like it's like it's in the shadow. There you go. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. How about that? Something like that. I don't know. Maybe there's something here. So So now every color area that works, that doesn't break your shit, and that looks like it's working both within the gamut and to expand it and make it more interesting, um, becomes an asset that you can color pick from. Um, so as you're figuring out, you know, like, so now I can see this is sort of like my shadow color in the medium, in the mid range. So I can just, you know, I can use that to fill in areas. This could be greener here because of the reflected light from somewhere. It looks pretty cool. And could make this, yeah, this can be cooler. This could be have that gray and then make it even cooler. Make it more purple here. Should I? Yeah, that doesn't look bad. Do I need it? I mean, it's kind of clutter. It's kind of clutter. If I don't make it, if I make it less obvious, then I'm sort of breaching like the boundary between. Well, I guess it's like in the group with these. Yeah. Okay. Fine. It can be like, it can be that. For now, at least. I want her hand to read. So let's see here. Okay, so Mr. Ors. Okay, well, I could give him an underlighting, right? That's theater mystery. Or I could go full, like more. I could be analytical and go like, well, where is he being lit from by the planet over here? Oh, like that. But I don't know. I think the underlighting just looks better. Or I mean, not looks, but it reads better. It makes this yellow shape easier to distinguish. It looks like a lemon. I could add a fringe right here. I don't know. What color to make the background? Definitely, we said not the blue. Not the blue, right? We can't use the blue. So See, he's got like maybe like a joystick too. He's controlling. Choo choo choo, choo choo choo. I'm falling, falling. Maybe that's the exosuit. Yeah, I'm not convinced by this image. It's just like, it doesn't look like the image on a monitor. Let's try and let's try to throw an overlay on it. Yeah, that's closer, closer, closer. As a matter of fact, what we could do is we could use Clip Studio's screen tone tool to make this a like scan line type thing. Where is it here? Line. And it's gonna be the angle here. It's gonna be oh yeah, in diagonal. That's awesome. And we don't want to make it too we don't want to make them too tiny, or they won't, you know, they're not gonna read, you know. So these lines are very thin, dark lines on a light background. So what we can do is change the, because it's interpreting, it's using the value of the color in the layer to determine the density of the line. So if we change the brightness, the effect will increase. And I can make this also a color layer. And if we, yeah. Let's set this color to that, or maybe this. That's pretty cool. Maybe if we use the bright. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a work in progress. Oh. Oh, when I change the brightness, or I change the opacity, it still transforms it into lines, or it kind of like that. Let me just duplicate this and then hide that and then create a new layer and then merge that, and now this is a this is just a regular layer. And yep. And let's blur this a little bit. Maybe not that much. Just give it a little anti-aliasing, you know. Can't be all. Just a little bit. Let me just go filter blur. How about that? Yeah, it's whatever. It's passable. If we just select. Oh, what are you doing? Fine, we'll select this and select inverse, and then go over here and open a layer mask, and that will mask this, everything outside this image. So if we, you see what I'm saying, right? So if we transform this now, sweet. I can even do a mesh transform. Make it look convex. All like, yeah, like that. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, that's all very good, but obviously that's way too much. So let's tone this a little bit down. Well, I mean, I kind of like the green. It's pretty cool. Maybe this doesn't need to be as pronounced. Now this makes him look like he's in a tank, in a water tank, not the combat tank. We'll leave this on for now, just so we don't forget it. But that's way outside our value range. But if we yeah, it's pretty cute. I like it. I even like this this, even though it makes no sense because there is no light over here, but whatever, who cares? So, exoskeletons. What to do with you? Let me just take these guys. And I'm just gonna cut this and then paste it on top and then hide it for now. And let's heal this wound in space. Wait. What is that? Where is that layer? Yeah, after a while it starts testing your patience to have so many layers open, and the temptation becomes stronger and stronger to just collapse everything, and it will happen. It will definitely happen. not yet. All right, so that's good. Actually, this planet, I think, looks mighty fine, just like that. Just like that. For now. Okay. So let's talk exoskeletons. So these guys are just a lemon with tentacles. And I want, okay, so it would be pretty cool for it to be against the planet. The problem is that I bisected this in two almost neatly, so fine, I will collapse. I have this option that's called combine copies of displayed layer, which is the Clip Studios. Let's see. Are you guys seeing these menus as I'm opening them? No, you're not. Well, so in Clip Studio, there's under layer, there's an option called combine copies of displayed layer. It's the fourth one from the bottom, and it's Clip Studios. It's Clip Studios sort of substitute for what in Photoshop is copy merged, which I think is a very useful command that no other software has, but I'm not using Photoshop. So combine copies of visible layer or displayed layer, right? Combine copies of displayed layer, that will give you a layer like this that is just contains everything that is visible in your painting, all merged together. So actually, what I will do is, let me just deselect the line work. Why is this separate? Well, whatever. So and then run that. Okay. I can always just use layer modes later to keep adjusting the colors. Oh, what happened? What happened, baby? Where's wait for baby. There we go. All right. So you guys go stand in the corner. So the reason why I did this is because I want to move this planet. So if let's see, I could move it over here. Yeah, that looks cool. That looks badass. I mean, it's not bothering anybody here. It's kind of framing this dude, and this girl almost feels like has more room to breathe. Although, of course, there is about to appear an alien here, and this would be the space that I have for him. This space right here, somewhere in this general vicinity. And I could have a smaller one right here, or maybe even two. Yeah, that would be cool. It would feel like they're coming this way. So, of course, alternatively, I could put it here. Sort of like this. Yeah, and then the alien would go over here. Like something like this over here, maybe 2, and then a small one over here. It's not terribly offensive, but I don't love it. I don't love it, and I think this looks cooler. Wouldn't you agree? I can even move it. Well, we don't want to touch that. That would be bad. Don't want to tangent into that. But right here, it's not bothering nobody. Right here, it's just doing. Yeah, it's just right there. Yeah. So let's see. So let's have ourselves a one here, and one here. Something like that. I don't want an even distribution. Like that. No, let's not jam it in a corner. Like right here. So like that. What is that? See, 10. So do we want? So another one of my ambitions is that I want them to be saying hi, but I want them to be visibly armed. So that means I have to draw a weapon and an arm going like this, and then like a weapon, which will, what is that? An M14 scoped assault rifle. Well, a big cupola certainly says exoskeleton, but we're already seeing him here on the screen, so we don't need that much of an indication. So maybe this general orientation like this. So here's the cupola, here will be the dude. I can make it bigger, I can make it bigger, I can make it bigger, I can make it like this. That will be more old school. Here's the dude. Here's the back of the cupola. So this will be the cool. So we'll just have these things come out the sides like so. Maybe some kind of so this cutaway here is reminiscent of like robot and knight breastplates that have a ventral section, but whatever. So what if, yeah, so what if they just have two, they're just basically like the robot version of this creature, and they don't have legs underneath. Maybe a pod like Frieza. But that would mean that I can make, hold on a second. That would mean that I can make the central section even bigger, because now I don't need room for legs. where do I want to point him? How do I orient the axis, right? So I have this character here, so this is up and down, right, on him. So this is going to point at this way and this way. So I want to orient them in a way that these arrows, right? So in a way that this axis does not tangent into anything. And this is if possible. So it's a little bit tricky, you know, because I got a lot of shit. So that is relatively inoffensive, right? So now what I can do is I can lower this. What's that? Wait, what? Why am I downloading Google Play? God damn it. No. Power off. Random updates on my phone, taking up my data. Trying to update your crap. Yeah, that is not a very convincing tentacle. So these things would stand on two legs like this, I guess, on land. Just make the arms, let's just try to make the arms more beefy. And then we'll project this one forward. And we can make it look like the loader claw from Alien a little bit. Yeah, that is very convincing. Guess we're gonna have to shrink it after all. Could include small appendages, small and noodly appendages. Yeah, those little knobs look okay, I suppose. Or they could be on top. They could be like... Yeah, that will look like eyes and mimic the way humans design everything to look like them. Or at least in some sci-fi macros. But what about the weapon that I wanted to include? And now, yeah, okay, fine. We'll make the arms more like... Is that a weapon? Looks... Doesn't look like a weapon. In fact, in this configuration, a weapon would be carried like... If it was like a firearm, it'd be carried like this. Whatever, let's go with that. Let's go with that. And then here will be one mo. Wait. Well, yeah, let's just make him light or dark to start with. That is coming dangerously close to our alien dude. And we don't want that. I'm gonna redraw it, because I can't shrink it. If I shrink it, then my lines will shrink. And if my lines will shrink, they'll be out of frequency. They will have different units, different internal units. So by sticking to my standard line weight, I'm making sure that everything reads. So that means this guy have to be simple. And this guy will have to be just a blip on the radar. Almost. God, it's so busy now. what are you gonna do? You know? What are you gonna do? Use your brain? No. Red eyebrows. Should I give him a beard? Wait, okay, let's leave this layer alone for now. Let's go on top now. So make him look like Ben. Yeah, that would be cool. He doesn't have these kind of, well, close enough. Close enough, I say. It's acceptable. What about these buttons? Should we make, should we break this up? What is this anyways? I wonder. Is it a monitor? I got a monitor here. I don't have too many monitors. It's much better to have you know, colored lights and shit like that in space. Let's make this a keypad of some description. How about a green one? Ooh, it could have like this kind of deal. Come on, yeah, all right, cool, sweet. All right, so let's break it up like this. Yeah, like tic-tac-toe. So there'll be a pink one here, and a yellow one, and like a beep boop 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 beep boop boop beep boop. So this can be. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out a pattern where each button reads against each adjacent button and doesn't interfere with any of the other elements. And of course I can adjust it later. Beep boop boop beep boop boop beep boop beep boop. Darker even. Pretty sweet, if you ask me. Ooh, green. Ooh, pink. I mean, if that's not sci-fi, I don't know. I don't know what is. This can be light. This can be meh. This can be eh. Let's yeah, the rest of the buttons can just be what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop it. No, why not? Yeah, this goes in. It's an invagination. You guys know that word? Look it up. Invagination. So this can extend over here, all the way over here. Oh, what about these pants? What about them pants? I could make his legs skinnier and give him like knee pads, and they would be in the general group with, but as they're, because they're going like further away from us, I want them to be lighter than the uniform that we see here in the front. Plus they're kind of in the light, so, but also, you know, we can put knee pads here. They'll be like that. So these are the legs now. They're far away. We can't see them because they're far away. We can't see them because they're under the console. How about that? Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. God damn it, thumb. Fine. I'm not gonna get my knee pads like I wanted. But can't always get what you want, baby. Can't always get what you want. Look, we can kind of see it over yonder. It's a red house over yonder. That's where my baby stays. Oh, this side of the buttons can be that green. And there can be a lip here because the corner of the corner of the object that faces you reflects the most light into your eye in a lot of situations. And this is something that to be perfectly honest with you, I learned this from looking at Nicholas Janssen's work. And if you don't know Nicholas Janssen, you gotta look it up. Go to Prometheus Spawning Grounds. Google that. He just came out with a new game that's called Asteroids. He did Cortex. He created Cortex Command, and they just released a new game. Digital Realms did. It's called Asteroid something. It's on my list. But yeah, if you have an object, you know, like in the academy, they will tell you, like, here's your object. You know, this side is dark, and then this side is maybe not as dark if the light is coming from like over here. you know. And then this is also how like something like Maya will shade it. And then this area will be like intermediate, or some people will put a line here, you know, like what do, you know, what's happening here on the border, and on this border. But you know, the thing is that as we look at this object, as the surface turns, you know, this is the surface of the object, and this is our eye over here. You know, we're looking at this, like this is the part of the surface that is reflecting, that is facing us directly. So the light, as it bounces off the surface in every direction, it's going to bounce most severely from, particularly the part, specifically, exactly the part that's facing us. As the surface turns, there is a part that faces directly our eye, and that's why in a lot of cases you will see a highlight running on the edge of the object, you know, depending on the material, but especially like on the corner right here, you know. So that's something to keep in mind. Or at least that's something that I keep in mind a lot. Like here, boom, you know? Just lighten that, bang. But maybe I don't want these to be buttons. Maybe I just want them to be colored lights that go people, 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 people. Do I? Decisions. I'll figure it out later. Let's see. What's happening here? Let's define this. Define this as a monitor, which does or does not have any display, any information displayed on it. Let's put a shadow. No, let's not. Let's just keep it clean. No need to sophisticate things more than they already are. Okay. I'm gonna play some Gary Newman. I need to play some Gary Newman. Yeah, so many good songs. Oh my God. Where is it? Yeah. Yeah. So this can sort of be like a wraparound, like the console wraps around. There's like some shit right here. It goes like this. But like this basically is not part of the chair, but it's like comes right underneath here. So that's not it's not a particularly offensive concept to me at this moment. Yeah, whatever. This kind of works. This can be all. Yeah. This can have a cut line around it. Yeah, this, it doesn't look terrible. Come on, whatever. Stop giving me grief. OCD. Okay, whatever, good enough for now. Your thumb is way too pointy. So, and this is how I'm getting gradually sucked into opaque painting here by just, now I can just pick up the color underneath. So now I can just select areas. I like to use the lasso because it allows you to not start adding a bunch of clutter, because you're just addressing the sort of the whole area that you need, but you can lay down color a lot smoothly because you don't have to worry about going outside the boundaries of morality. You don't have to worry about, you know what I mean. So it's I'd make this darker, because I want it to kind of because I want this to kind of tuck in under here. Yeah. This can be, yeah. Catch me. Maybe I'll put a bright. Yeah, why not? Why not? This could be an extra fringe right here. Why not? No, I don't know about that. Everything is fixable. Everything is mutable. It's a very nice circle. Testament to my drafting prowess. Now there's too many things that are round here already. Let's put some other things. How about like a this type of thing. Sand clock in a spaceship. Lol. No, that's doesn't. No. course, I could just populate it with more boxes. How many boxes there? Well, you got lots of boxes. I think there's only one thing for it. There's only one cure for roundness, and that is triangularity. Why is that? Yes! Dude, a fucking warning sign! Yeah, baby. What? Do what I want. What, bro? No, that is too stupid. I mean, oh, dude, I know. A fucking fire extinguisher. You know it. Break in case of emergency. Everyone must cry or lose. No, please sleep by windows, please. Maybe one more for good measure. Well, I don't want it to interfere with that curve, so I'm gonna put it here. Tear yourself up. I mean, it's just more clutter, but come on, fire extinguishers. Safety first. Silence is no exit, no one can save you here. I could talk about my program that everything is right. I could specialize in features that nothing's ever right. But I don't love you. No, I don't love you. Do you dream? We are just sound. We are just noise. We are running no lie. And we are just sound. We are just noise. We are running. I suppose that is not so terrible. Do you dream? Well, it's just more clutter, but I think it's better than the round light. when I paint glass, I leave the fringe of glass outside the color that that is being seen transparently through the glass. Just leave the glass outside of that because the refraction or the refraction coefficient is highest at sharpest angles of light incidence. What is this? Oh, I know what it is. It is over here somewhere. Yes. Get out of here. Get out of here. Something like that. So Mister so I could just use the medium, right? That would set it aside, that would set it apart from the light value of the planet. But because he's outside, I want to tinge that. I want to tinge this gray with, you know, a more analogous, a lighter and more analogous to the orange. So, yeah, that's about it. So this guy, I could observe you all. So I will probably add some glints and, you know, like some brighter accents on him later. But, you know, like he's dark against that planet. These guys are light against the darkness of space. But, you know, there's a reasonable extent to that too. Where are you guys? There you are. There you go. So let's just lock opacity for this and tone these guys down a little bit. Because, you know, that's too much. There. That's pretty good. Okay. It's pretty good. Why don't you go over here? Well, what's that? What's... Oh, well, I'm never gonna find it. I'm never gonna find that layer. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, that's terrible. Shine alive.
And they called me the Spartan.
Oh.
Was the best, I worked them all.
There it is.
New ways, new ways.
Just go over here.
I dream
Of wires. Yeah, that's pretty cute. Is he two in the middle? He's two in the middle. Between this guy and this thing. So, yeah, better closer to the planet. Even though now the distribution between these three is too... even, I want to say even, but really what it is commensurate to their size. Right? So... put him here? Could put it too close to the planet? I guess that's not, that's maybe the least offensive. For now. For now. Why won't you paint there? Because my... Fine, I'll paint here. Go. We can't brighten this TV screen because then it will get lost against the planet. So we need to darken it. I'll give it a bit of a rim light. In fact, this whole panel right here, it can just kind of wait. Not you. You need to stay pure. Do we go with a darken? Yeah, I don't need it to be anything drastic. Yeah, that's pretty cute. Yeah, that's pretty cute. There, that's pretty sweet. I mean, it's within acceptable limits. Oh yeah. I wonder if I'll get a copyright strike for this. But you can now just remove the song. You can just remove the offending song from the video. Or sometimes it can get demonetized, which of course I don't care because I'm not monetizing anyways. You know, this ear is way too far away. Over there. Over there. hidden ear. Man. Let's experiment. I'd say the experiment shows that we don't. And we have more room to put like curlicues over here.
What if God's dead? We must have done something wrong. This dark facade ends. We're independent from someone. This wreckage dichotomy.
So of course the earth forces for, you know, or whatever. This is an enlightened spaceship, of course, a progressive spaceship, in which this representative of the Sirene people is allowed to she wears her ceremonial headgear while wearing the earthling uniform, which doesn't objectify her as much as her cultural uniform. Yeah, I think there's room for that. Do we need the other tail? Since she's a Tsuin. But it would be over here. The other problem with that is that, well, I'll tell you what, there is no problem. You remove the problem by it's time to collapse again. It is time once again. But wait. Oh, I don't have line work. Okay, well this time I'm collapsing everything. Line work too. Boom. We will fix the problem by... What are you doing? By moving this over. Because I didn't want to lose this little pocket of light. I don't need to collapse my layers for that. I can just do it old school. Booyakasha. And hey, what are you doing? No, Loop Studio, yeah. There we go. So now this can go over here. This can go over here. Shit. There. So nobody got hurt. So now we can we can put this. Tail number 2. Well, yeah, it's going to have to be dark. A little red down there. Well, it's like too symmetrical, bro. What to do about that? No, that's cheesy. Damn it. Alright, well, I'm gonna have to figure that out later. How these twin tails work. I'm gonna have to figure that shit out later. The 21st century, why don't they sell shit like this at like Nordstrom? Like, I'd be I'd be pleased. If women wear these cool sci-fi curly cued diadems, that'd be badass. Because people don't know how to design anymore. Everything's just circles and squares and triangles and shit. Maybe I'm being excessive here. Obsessive. Now she is gonna have to get some blue in her, because the eyebrows can be green. Yeah, like that. So it's almost like ambiguous. Like, is this a pupil? Or is that the inner eyelid? Yeah, whatever. The point is, she is asking a question. Should we do her lips? I don't know, it's gonna be tricky. Yeah, no, yeah, it's good. It's good. It's not a problem. No, maybe not there. Yeah, I think that's an inquisitive looking demeanor. So all right. I think it's almost about time for me to take a break. I think it's time to give this fountain a rest as well. Yeah? I'm sorry if most of what you heard here tonight is a bunch of gibberish. But nothing. That's it. It looks like there's some like sophisticated shit going on right there. And she's got her midriff showing. Yeah. You know. I mean, does she have a leg? Yeah, she could have a leg. I mean, And actually, there. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Earth. Or not Earth. Federation or not Federation. Well, I mean, why would he have a badge otherwise? Something like that. For now. Figure the rest out later. This is wonderfully, wonderfully even here. Should we pretend that there's something here? Yeah. Why not? I don't think she needs that much of a leg. It can't be here. It can't be here. I think this is an acceptable amount of leg. I think so. The reflected light on here can be stronger than here because this is closer to the floor, which is what the light is being reflected off of. Into the light. But now, god damn it, now we got tangent here. Well, what are you gonna do? Gotta move the leg even more? Got to move the leg even more. Oh, God. That's just not enough. I can't believe this gave me trouble. That's because I didn't solve it. I didn't solve it at the beginning. I was like, yeah, you know, it will work out. But the dagger is part of her cultural profile, It's very important. She should have nails. Maybe this finger should be harder. Like, not tentative, but suggestive of a pointed inquiry. That just looks so weird. It looks like an animal or something. So I don't know how to draw a finger. It turns out. Where's these those things? That's just a little bit, just a little bit. Oh, and also, where's that thing? That thing. Let's just take it in a little bit. Give it a little oomph. Yeah, so that looks cool. And where's this guy? Where's my aliens at? There they are. I mean, I'm thinking now he's too. Yeah, that's more like it. I mean, they need to be not. Yeah, that looks like he's outside. Outside, yo. Gosh darn it. Oh gosh darn it. Yeah, well, how about that? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. But that, no, same color. No, that's too dark. All right, whatever, that works. Alright, you know, I think this is it for now. I think this is where I'm gonna... Damn it, oh god. No, a little lighter. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop it here. If anybody was watching, or anybody watches this in the future, thanks for watching.